GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered. And that's MVS and Justin Watson with some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues. If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow, comma, semicolon, period, next sentence, to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JRich.
Is that yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up with Ray
and Jay
in the morning.
My God.
How good is he? How
so
good is he? Let's get it. GMGP. Good morning, good people. It is Monday, December 30th, 2024. Almost the end, Jay. Almost the end of the 2024 calendar year that y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with myself and my dog, my brother from another mother. He is back. Missed us on Friday, but JRich is in the damn building today. What's popping with all of y'all, man? What's going down with y'all this morning? Who we got in the building? Joe. What's going on, my girl Joe in the building? Dynasty Noob. Brandon. What's up? GMGP to UB. Greg in the building. Cash me out. GMGP. What's going down? Jimbo, the champ, is here. GMGP to you. Jimbo, what's popping with you? Where my fellow Pats fans at? Fire, Mayo, and Wolf. Draft Travis Hunter. Okay, we got some of that. Nick in the building. Garrison, 1-1, lost one, still one going tonight. Talking about them fantasy playoffs. The Misfit, my brother from Leander, Texas, man. You got a box coming. You got a box coming, baby. Thank you for jumping on yesterday. Appreciate each and every eye, each and every ear on the show today. And thank you for those who showed up yesterday to hang out with me, JRich, and Scott as we sweated through some of our underdog teams. Jay, OGQ was in first. I'm down to 20th, man. I'm outside the top 20. That goddamn Bijan Robinson, man. The snap over his head, it killed me. I needed 3 TDs. I was going to finish inside the top 10, 10K. And they snap it over his damn head, man. Lost 2.1 points and the touchdown because he was definitely going to score. But we're going to have some fun today. It is the end. We wish we had that Boys the Men, that sad song, How Do I Say Goodbye, to the 2024 fantasy football season. A wrap, Jay. Let's get you on the screen. How you doing, baby?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, it was an interesting day of football yesterday, especially in the very beginning, right? With us on the screen talking about the games, sweating out the plays. And then obviously Sunday Night Football was great as well. We're going to have another good Sunday Night Football game in Week 18. But it was a fun weekend. You know, it's funny how every week random guys score touchdowns, right? Every week it happens. But when the fantasy playoffs hit, how is this guy scoring a touchdown? How is that guy scoring a touchdown? This is just fantasy football. And, you know, Scott talked about it. So if anyone who didn't watch it, I would go back and watch it. You guys talked about your best ball strategy, some of the things you learned, and some of the ways you'd reconstruct your rosters, things we're not going to get into on this show, at least right now. So I would highly encourage people to go look at that because it was some really good, valuable information, probably around the 1 hour, 1.5 hour mark when Scott came on and was talking to you about what your strategy was. So I'd highly encourage people to check that out. But happy to be back. Had a good Christmas. How was your Christmas and how was the people's Christmas? Let us know in the comments.
Oh, man, Christmas was good, man. You know, it's all about family, dude. It's all about family. We had my wife's family came up from Mississippi, and they came for the first time to see the crib, see the home. So we like to host. We do big Christmas Eve brunches at our house. We host, and we do a lot of stuff for Christmas Eve. Next year, we're going to do New Year's, but Christmas was good, man. I got a cookbook. I'm very excited about that. I've used this cookbook every day, JRich, and some golf clubs, man. I want to get into that old golf game.
Let's
GQ
go.
Gonna be out there on the old green, man. Just get that head down. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be out there, baby.
What brand you get?
What
brand you get?
I only got 2 clubs. We didn't get the driver. We didn't get that. She went and talked to the TaylorMade, I think is
TaylorMade's okay. Yeah, I got
Callaway, I think that's what it is.
The
bag
brands?
was TaylorMade. The gloves were Callaway, I think.
Okay, so
But
you
I
got
don't
two
know.
clubs starting slow. What'd you get? A
Yeah,
7-iron and like a
I
pitching
don't
wedge
even
type
know
of thing?
which ones they are. Have no clue which clubs they are, but we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it together. I'm gonna get some lessons, man. But yeah, check out the show. You know, we're all in underdog. You know, one of the things that we talked about on that stream yesterday, and I don't do this often, man. I don't do this often, but a lot of people that watch this show and they consume other fantasy football content, what I've seen are people ask, like, how good are these people? Like, the people that are giving me this advice, like, do they actually win leagues? Do they actually win money? Like, what the hell? How do we know that they're just not spewing stuff out of their ass? And all I'll say is, from our highest tier, and it's the GOAT tier on the website, Heisman tier if you go to patreon.com/allgas, but we had 7 people, man. 7 people inside of a $100,000 to $1 million range underdog finalists, and they all came from that group, right? That private group where we, every single day, the same shit that we do right now, the way that we're talking to the people, this is what we do in our voice chat. It's inside the Discord, me, you, Scott, Connor, Shane, whomever's in there. We get in there, and there's groups of 20, 30, 40, 50 people, and they're listening, and we're just vibing, and we're talking every single day. Strategy, players, situation, new tools, new discoveries. And from that group, we had 7 people in line to win in between $10 to $1.5 million, and we got 2 cats right now that are still in the money. So when people ask, like, do y'all win? Do y'all know what y'all are talking about? The answer unequivocally is fuck yeah, we do. So if you want to be a part of a community where you're going to learn, where you're going to grow, where you're going to have the potential to win money, to talk about things that the rest of the fantasy community is 10 years behind, just now catching up on, go to ddfantasyfootball.com and sign up. Go to patreon.com/allgas and sign up. And I'm telling y'all right now, you think, I don't need that shit from January to May to March. I only need to pay attention in August and April. August and September. It's too late. It's too late. We're talking about this stuff constantly, 24/7, 365. And the best part about it, Jay, is you have a promo code underneath every show that people can come join and check out some stuff for half off. So I would highly encourage it. I think the success that we've had just in our first year going through Underdog, it's not a coincidence that we had 7 people from that group in line to win one, in between $10 to $1.5 million. So join. Sign up. Stop fucking around with all these bullshit ass fantasy companies that don't understand the game. They don't understand ball. Come over here and rock with the squad that can get you in line to win $1.5 million, Jay. Where you want to start? What do you want to talk about, man?
I mean, I kind of want to start on Saturday because there's going to be a big conversation this offseason about one T. Higgins, Ray, and what he's going to command on the open market. And I don't know if you saw this, and we will get to this game a little bit later, but T put out a little post on Instagram. Sauce Gardner responded, and someone said, Sauce, why don't you recruit him to the Jets? And Sauce was like, I am not going to do that about bringing T to the Jets. But T. Higgins, man, number 1 player this week. Sucks if you had Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase was all right. But T. Higgins, massive game, 11, 131, and 3 touchdowns, Ray, in the fantasy finals. Obviously going to be a free agent this offseason. Where do you think T ends up? Do you think he ends up back on the Bengals? Do you think he ends up somewhere else? Because I want him on my Patriots, but I think Carolina's going to come calling.
Yeah, I think he's staying right there. He switched agents. He switched from David Molletta to the same agent as Jamar Chase. I don't think that was just ironic or happen chance. And you saw Joe Burrow at the end of the game embrace him. Like, I really do believe that all 3 of these guys enjoy playing with one another. They're probably really good friends off the field, and they know how valuable each one is to one another on the field. Joe Burrow's going to get what Joe Burrow wants, and I believe Joe Burrow, why would he want T. Higgins to walk? There's no replacing him. People are like, oh, you let T walk, go draft Ted McMillan. Ted McMillan is not T. Higgins. Not yet. He ain't T. Higgins yet. That might be the comp, but he ain't T yet. I think he's staying right there in Cincinnati, and honestly, I think that's best case scenario. Even operating as the number 2 in this offense, both of these guys with Joe Burrow at quarterback, we've seen duos have success with all-time quarterbacks. Antonio Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster in Pittsburgh. We saw Larry Fitzgerald and Anquan Bolden, TJ Houshmandzadeh and Chad Johnson. I mean, you can have 2 dominant, 2 very good wide receivers inside the same offense when it's propelled by an all-time great quarterback, which Joe Burrow is on that trajectory right now. So this past weekend, T. Higgins absolutely smashed, delivered, made it happen for you when you needed it most. And Jamar volumed his way to he was fine, but T. Higgins was the guy. T. Higgins was the guy, so I don't think he's going to go to Carolina. I don't think they're going to let him get to New England. I think he's going to return right there and be in Cincinnati in 2025, Jay.
Yeah, we saw some high-end receivers get matched up with some high-end quarterbacks. We saw that just even last night with Terry McLaurin. But, Ray, I got to ask you about Bo Nix because Bo Nix was a little up and down in this game, but towards the end, when they needed him, man, he made some massive throws, 24 for 31, 3 touchdowns, did throw 1 pick, QBR of 64.6. Now, Burrow, of course, was a 91.2 on the other end and got the win, but him and Marvin Mims connected on some massive passes down the stretch. How do you feel about Bo Nix with his rookie season virtually coming to an end? He's got KC next week, but how do you feel about Bo Nix right now?
Yeah, this is this is one where we said if Bo Nix were ever a Hall of Fame, Pro Bowl, voted to a Pro Bowl, we would stop, wake up, it would be over. He's
Thank
probably going to
God
get
for
one,
the
Jay.
AFC quarterbacks.
I think at some point he may get one. He is much better than advertised. He's been one of the better rookies in this class this season. Denver's got their quarterback of the future. Is he perfect? No, but no rookie quarterback is perfect. I think having Sean Payton, having a strong defense, and sort of this offense feels like a ball of clay. It is still yet to be formed. There's really not a dynamic pass-catching option at the tight end position. They don't have an explosive running back right now to take a little pressure off of Nix. And while Cortland Sutton is good, and I think Devon Vele is a very nice complementary wide receiver as well, think of Michael Wilson next to what we want to be Marvin Harrison Jr., and we'll talk about him. They still need another option out there. Marvin Mims created some explosives this weekend, but overall, I don't know how you can be disappointed, upset, or hating on what Bo Nix did here in his rookie season. I believe he's going to finish. Where's he at right now? I believe he's like top 15 and touchdown passes, yards. He's inside the top 20 for rookies. He's had a very, very good rookie season. I've been impressed.
25 TDs is good.
Yeah. How many TDs? 25?
25, tied for 8th right now.
8th in the NFL.
And he's still got a game left.
Yeah. I think he's been incredible this year. What about you?
3,400. I mean, he's been great.
He's been great.
It's crazy because this isn't necessarily what we thought we'd get from Bo Nix. When you talk about 3,400 yards, 25 TDs, 12 picks, that's probably where it would have pegged him. Yeah. But the thing is the volume, right? For a player who is hyper accurate, and we kind of all expected that, I didn't necessarily think he was going to throw the ball like 30 times a game. And you just looked at the past 5 games, right? 31 attempts, 40 attempts, 33 attempts, 35 attempts, 42 attempts. Like, this is not what we thought we'd be getting from Bo Nix, but Sean Payton has clearly made us aware he is going to air it out with Bo Nix. Doesn't matter who he has at receiver, at tight end, he is going to throw the football. And that's where I don't want to say this incorrectly. He is not Drew Brees, but he is being utilized in a similar fashion to the way that Sean Payton used Drew Brees and the volume to which they throw the football. With a player like Bo Nix, we expect him to lean on the running game because he's a young quarterback who is also athletic and will run the ball himself. But to think that he's throwing the ball this many times a game, like, this is what you want out of a quarterback who can also run the football. Because even Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, and all these quarterbacks that can run the ball a lot don't necessarily see this volume. We saw it from JD5 especially. But this is something that took Lamar, 4-5 seasons to really get to this level of passing volume with the rushing yards on top of it. So Bo Nix, for me, even the way he's playing right now, is a massive buy because at 24 years old in this Sean Payton system, he should only continue to get better. And he's clearly going to throw the football, which is all I hope to see kind of down the line. And we're seeing it in his rookie season.
Yeah, there was a comment from Scribbles. T gonna make too much. Bengals can't match. That's inaccurate. They've got the most cap space in 2025. Yeah. They've got no significant signings that they have to make. Trey Hendrickson is their biggest priority, and the Bengals have already sort of made
I think they're going to let him go.
That they'd prioritize a 26-year-old wide receiver over a 30-year-old DN. This is not true. Cincinnati's got more than enough cap space. Joe Burrow can restructure, and they can absolutely make it work. This is inaccurate, Scribbles. So I do think that T. Higgins is going to be back in Cincinnati, and he switched from the agent David Maletta, who his MO is go get their clients the biggest money. He switched from that for a reason to the same agent that Jamar Chase has, which that agent knows that since he's talking to Chase and talking to T. Higgins, I think he's going to be right back in Cincinnati. I do not believe he's going to New England to deal with that mess. It's still T. Higgins. It's T. Higgins' decision. He's not going. I don't believe he's picking New England Patriots. There was a reason why he switched agents. They've got the cap space. They've got nobody that they have to sign. Everybody is taken care of. I think he's going to be back in Cincinnati. To your point about Bo Nix, Sean Payton handpicked him. He said he's known the kid. This is his handpicked selection. I've got full confidence that with the class that we have from the tight end positions coming in 2025, that they're going to upgrade that position, tool up at the wide receiver spot, and allow him to continue to grow. Bo Nix has been awesome this season, Jay. He has been incredible. Let's go through some of the comments really quickly, and I want to give you some love, Jay, because you weren't here on Friday, but you are getting major props. Kev_K3 says, Ray and Jay, major props on that Caleb Johnson video on the screen. You love the format. JRich put his foot in that one. Ashton Jenaty is being worked on right now, and then we'll do Omarion Hampton next. So more of those prospect profile videos are on the way as we push through this NFL playoff season, the end of the 2024 NFL season. And we do have the winner of the DD Pack. Yesterday, we said that if Devontae Smith, I needed Devontae Smith. We were in a sweat. I needed 2 Smitty TDs. Almost had 3, but I said if he caught 2 touchdowns, I was going to give away a full DD Pack. DD Pack, all of the new shirts, all 5 of the new hats. We did find a winner for that. You've got to claim it. I want to get your package out tomorrow. So after we get back from the break, we'll announce who that winner is, pull that up on screen. But before we get there, Mr. Richards, let's quickly pivot to the college football game because we do have a college football playoff game on tomorrow. I think it's a pretty big one, and it's timely that Caleb Johnson was the comment. We talked about Ashton Jenaty, the player, and that's exactly who we have on tap for tomorrow. Penn State versus Boise State tomorrow night. 65% chance, according to ESPN Analytics, for Penn State to get this done. 34.6% chance for the Boise State Broncos. Ashton Jenaty, 2,497 yards and 30 TDs on the season versus my tight end one, Tyler Warren. You got Drew Allar coming back for another season of college football. What do you think about this game? You are, and I'm going to be fair to you, you're not an Ashton Jenaty hater. You just don't believe that he's this generational running back prospect that a lot of people are making him out to be. Strong performance versus this Penn State defense that has Abdul Carter, who will be a top 10 pick, who's got a lot of playmakers all over that defensive side of the field and coached by James Franklin. Is this a statement opportunity for Jenaty to really solidify himself as the top dog, as this generational, in quotes, prospect? Like he goes out there and cuts up Penn State. You know, what's that do for him, Jay? Now, if he goes out there and fails, also talk about the counter to that.
So I think the good thing for Jenaty is it's a very low-risk situation for him. If he goes out there and he stinks it up, I think it's going to be clear that, especially when you talk about Penn State, their staple for the past, 5, 6, 7 seasons has been speed at linebacker. Doesn't matter which playmaker you speak of who's been drafted by Penn State in the first 2 or 3 rounds of the NFL draft, they are all fast. 4.3 fast. Abdul Carter is going to be the next one, probably going to be 4.3 fast as well. And so that's my biggest issue is, can Jenaty overcome a team that has a lot of speed at linebacker? Is he fast enough or has the talent to break those tackles and get through those players? Now, the offensive line versus the Penn State D-line will be the other question, is how do they hold up? Because they look great against all these teams and look good against Oregon as well, so they should be all right. But I do think of all the teams out there that they've played so far, Penn State probably the most ready to face off against a talented running back and a talented offensive line, because that's what they do every single season, whether it's Michigan, Ohio State, Wisconsin. They are used to playing against Big Ten offensive lines and big-time running backs in the Big Ten. So I think that's where Jenaty may struggle a bit. But if he has a bad performance, I think for the most part, he'll be fine. Probably still a top 15 pick, top 20 pick overall. But as you mentioned, if he has a great one, maybe that does push him into the top 10 potentially. Again, I think that's a little bit over our skis, but it is possible if he's good enough and continues to win games and really show out in the college football playoff, because I think even that's really what happened with Zeke Elliott as well, right? He was a top 10 pick, and then he had a great playoff, and he kind of got bumped all the way up, and I think finished at 4 overall. I don't think Jenaty's going to go that high, but I personally think they can keep it close. I don't know if Penn State's going to cover in this one. I think, but the difference will be is the running game on both sides. You got two talented running backs versus one, quote unquote generational, very talented running back against that Penn State defense. But how do you feel about the linebackers versus Jenaty? Because I think that's the matchup you have to watch in this one.
This is I don't know. Because when you look at Jenaty, literally his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of his last 8 games, they've given him the ball 30+ times. So you look at, I'm trying to be realistic and fair here. You look at the stats and they're mind blowing, and you give him all the credit because he's toted the rock 344 times, 30+ carries at 7 of the last 8 games, but it hadn't felt like he's just gone out there and diced teams. It felt like he gets the ball a ton. And volume. Eventually, because he is so good, he's going to break one. This is just my thought and theory. I think that right now, what's happening with Jenaty and his draft outlook and prospectus, I think right now we're falling into a little bit of the same trap that everybody fell into last year, is big stream media just continues to talk about Jenaty. Every mock you see, there's no originality. Everybody mocks him to Dallas every single time. Dallas. And then you see no other running backs. I'm seeing somebody, I think it was Tankathon, Omarion Hampton was in round 4. Ollie Gordon was round 2. Caleb Johnson was round 5. Like, people don't know what the fuck they're doing right now. It is all a mess. I think once we get to the draft process, Jay, and we get to the combine, and Jenaty tests, and he weighs in, and he does all that stuff that people say doesn't matter, but it psychologically it matters. And he checks in at 5'8", 208 pounds, and then they look at Caleb Johnson at 6'1", 227. Omarion Hampton, 6 foot 230. Quinshawn Judkins, 5'11", 221. And them cats go out there, and they're bigger. They're just as fast, stronger, if not faster. And people who said, let me just say this, people who think, oh, man, Ray, you don't know. Hey, I definitely know what I'm doing. I watched enough of these guys last year, over $25,000 won on just combine props. Like, this guy's faster than a 4.6. Like, why do they have Nate Wiggins at a 4.5? He's going to run sub 4.3. I just think that once we get to the process, people are going to look at all the other running backs and be like, I don't know if I'm just going to auto-load Jenaty to Cleveland as my 101 in this situation when Omarion Hampton or Caleb Johnson fell to better situations and they're equally as talented. I think what this game can do for him is set the table to give him a significant leg up going into the process. But if he does not pass this test against Penn State's defense, I think there'll be people who are like, there are more people on your side of the fence than I thought that don't believe he's generational, that think he's really good, but not as good as people are hyping him up to be. This is a statement game because Penn State's defense is no joke. Like, they've got some dogs on that side of the ball too. And then offensively, they play this slow style. It's explosive, but not explosive. So how many opportunities will he have? I'm excited for this one for Jenaty. He's my RB1 in the class. I happen to think he's really talented, but I also love the other running backs behind him. I think Hampton and Johnson and Judkins, I think there are a lot of talented backs in this class.
Yeah, Island game tomorrow night. They gave Jenaty his own stage, and we'll see. Is it going to be good or bad for him? Because there is no one else playing tomorrow night. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out for them. But they gave Jenaty his own stage after he didn't win the Heisman. And I think Penn State's going to be ready for it. They're obviously 12-point favorites. You know, the line opened up at 11 on ESPN Bet. Now it's 11.5. It'll probably continue to only go Penn State's direction. But the thing is, Ray, is, and this is the question I really wanted to ask you, is do you think Penn State will sell out to stop him? Because I don't see why they wouldn't. Why wouldn't you put 9 in the box and dare them to pass
Big Ten
on
arrogance, right? Big Ten arrogance. That's why. Man, we're not worried about it because they're saying the same shit that you say.
Mountain West Brian Robinson.
They're saying the same thing. We're not changing our scheme. We're going to go out there. We're going to run a 6-man front. You can't or maybe because they can't throw the ball. Maybe they just load it up and say, we dare you to pass the ball. Dare you to throw it.
Straight man-to-man.
Yeah.
Safety in the box, single high.
I can see it.
Again, Jenaty can still break a big run because I think the offensive line is good enough. But if you're James Franklin and you're Penn State, you just load the box and just hope he doesn't break a big run. If he does, he's probably gone. But again, he's not going to do that 4 times in one game. He could, because we've seen it, but he's probably not doing that against Penn State. Probably not.
All right. And we cannot skip, overlook any of the other big collegiate prospects that played or did not play. So quickly, Jackson Dart did declare for the NFL draft, so we will get a chance to see Jackson Dart here in a few weeks down in Mobile for the Senior Bowl. But we also had 2 of the top projected quarterbacks in this class play. Cam Ward in Miami. They lost against, who did they play? Iowa State. Lost against Iowa State. I thought Cam Ward played really well. He threw his 156th touchdown pass of his collegiate career. He's been in college for 5 years. He's thrown for 156. He played one half of football, and I thought he played really well in that half of football, Jay. I thought he played really well. I know there's a lot of clips rolling up, being circulated with him just kind of standing there nonchalantly and throwing the football.
Yeah.
He played. A lot of people said he shouldn't have played, but he played, and I thought he played well. And then Colorado also showed up for a football game. I wouldn't really consider that them playing. I'll tell you what it looked like from my opinion. It looked like a team who did – Travis Hunter wasn't good in the game. He had 4 for 106 and a touchdown. Defensively, I've said it all season, and I'll say it again. I think he should play wide receiver in the NFL. My personal opinion. I do not look at him as a lockdown cornerback. I think he's got elite closing speed. I think he's got generational juice. I really do. I mean, you see him doing goddamn 360 windmill dunks, but he's athletic as all outdoors. He is ridiculously athletic. I think he's a much better wide receiver than he is defensive back. And he was not very good on the defensive side of the ball. But Hunter's been on a 2-week Heisman Trophy run. He's got mental problems right now because all the stuff that's going on with his girlfriend. Issues. He looked tired out there. He looked exhausted. Sanders looked bad. They didn't look good. I mean, the whole team walked through that game, and they got their shit kicked in by BYU. And it was not pretty, 36-14. The only thing that was going good, I guess Shiloh Sanders out there dancing around as he's given up big plays left and right. He's going to be a special teams monster. But any final thoughts on, let's predict it now. I mean, just how are you going to, look at this, Jay. Just why are you not going to play this guy right here? Let's pull his stats up so everyone can see. 96 for 12, 58, and 15. Like, what are we doing? Play him at receiver. Just play him at wide receiver, please. Please, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, Hunter did his thing. I think that, to your point about Hunter, the problem is we all know what's been going on behind the scenes, and you just can't imagine he was very ready for this game.
He
mentally, the team wasn't ready. I think the funniest part about this entire game was the fact that Shador wore the Giants cleats, and then the Giants went out this weekend and won, so now they're not in line to get the number 1 pick, and they're not in line to get Sanders either. It's like a double curse. Sanders wore the cleats, and now, of course, the Giants will have the number 1 pick. But we'll see what happens. Very interesting. I didn't watch that game. I have zero interest. But yeah, cool to see Cam Ward break that record because that was the all-time passing touchdown record that he broke, right?
And
this is kind of cool. That's actually kind of cool.
Carter said the broadcasters, right? The broadcasters talked for 5 minutes how he could be the best corner in the league in year 1. Here's what I'm not doing. This is what I'm not doing. I'm not doing this shit this year. There are a lot of big-name media people who don't watch any college football. None. A lot of people were giving their opinions about Colorado and Travis and shit. They didn't watch a lick of fucking football all year, right? What I'm not going to do is allow them to skew my perception of him as a cornerback throughout this process by calling him the greatest cornerback prospect we've ever seen. Excuse me. For those who watch college football, I don't even think he's a better defensive back than what Tyrann Mathieu was during his career at LSU. And I don't even think, not even close. The Honey Badger, I know they play 2 different type of positions, but he's not even a better DB than Tyrann Mathieu was coming out of LSU. Stop it. I'm using the G word. He's an elite athlete, an elite playmaker, elite closing speed, elite ball tracking, elite ball hawking. But going out there, lining up, and going boom, 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 I'm just finna shadow. I think it's a disservice of his skill set. I do not believe there's any way, shape, or form he's the best cornerback in the league year 1 or 2 or 3. I'm not buying that,
close.
and I'm not going to allow any analyst to tell me otherwise because I've watched him play. He's a better receiver than he is corner because he is so explosive. He can make ridiculous grabs. Look at the touchdown catch. I mean, Shedeur, it was a beautiful throw by Shedeur Sanders. I mean, he put it in, layered it over the defensive back. Hunter gets it, boom, cuts. Yards after the catch, he's a touchdown. But you're not going to convince me that I don't think he's better than Will Johnson. What are we talking about? Like, if you're talking corner for corner, I think Will Johnson's a better corner than Hunter. You put Hunter at wide receiver, and I said this in July. If there were one wide receiver to push Ted McMillan for wide receiver 1, who did I say it would be, Jay?
It's a full-time Travis Hunter, but he's got to be full-time.
He's got to be full-time Travis Hunter. That's my opinion on him, man. I don't care what the broadcasters say. The broadcasters barely knew what school he was at before this. I mean, they say so much. They're just reading what the producers put in front of them. I do not believe that to be true at all. No way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and Xavier kind of said it. He's just an extremely athletic ball hawk. But in the NFL, everybody's extremely athletic, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where he's a great receiver. So those skills translate, tracking the ball, being able to make a play on the ball, to know how receivers move and kind of want to get in and out of their breaks. And he does know some of that stuff. But it's very different to actually be an elite shadow corner that's going man for man, like we saw AJ Terrell last night, Pat Surtain against Jamar Chase.
Come on, man.
It's way different. He's probably not even a top 20 corner.
Be real.
He's probably not even a top 20 corner.
I'm loving the chat right now because nobody's shitting on Hunter. Nobody. Everybody in the chat. I'm looking at Xavier, Joe, Hunter, Joe Green. Everybody's saying he's an elite athlete. Closing speed, ball hawk ability, 50-50 catch. But do not let the media put it out there that he's a generational cornerback prospect. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. No. And how can you expect him to be when he doesn't train at that thing full time? Like it's not even, I don't think it's real. He doesn't even do it full time. Yep. He's out there running the full complement of snaps at receiver. So just my opinion, watching that game, I really, really hope if your Pats take him number 1, that's to put him at wide receiver to pair with Drake May. I would love that, Jay.
That's my biggest fear, Ray, is that they're going to spend all this time trying to make him a good corner. He's not going to play enough receiver to where it's valuable, right? He can't play receiver if he's not a good corner because he wants to play corner and receiver. So I think if you're a coaching staff and you need to polish him at cornerback, like you said, you can't play both positions and play at an all-pro level like you're drafting him to be at number 1. You just can't do that. He has to learn to play corner if he wants to play both ways in the NFL. So that's where it's going to be tough for him. It's a lot of development. It's a lot.
And this is what I'll say on this. This topic, I bet you it's drawn out all the way through September. I bet you we don't really know where he's going to play full time. It will be discussed at great length. If you have rookie drafts before the NFL draft, you're just going to have to make a conviction bet. You are literally just going to have to say, I'm going to just take him and let the chips fall where they may.
I don't think it's worth it.
You know?
I just don't think it's worth it. It doesn't seem like it's going to be
favorable
for fantasy. It doesn't.
We'll see. And I want to tie a bow on the QBs. So I see people still talking about Jalen Milroe. So I asked Ian Valentino, who does some stuff for I can't think where Ian. I think it's Draft something. I'm sorry for misremembering right now.
He's 30-13.
There it is, 30-13. And we're talking last night because he said, in his opinion, he said Shedeur is the QB1, Cam Ward the QB2, and he still got Milroe inside the first round. So I was like, Ian, do you really think Milroe is a first-round quarterback? And he said, not really, but he's athletic, and NFL teams will probably take that. I wish he would transfer, stay another year in college. Yeah. I'll just say this, and I've been on record, even though Shedeur is my QB1 in this class, Cam Ward QB2, those are the two quarterbacks that I believe have first-round grades. I've said this for weeks and months, Jay. You know who I would take over any of those guys? Mr. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns, Baker Mayfield. If I had the opportunity to trade my rights to draft any one of those quarterbacks for Baker Mayfield plus, for Jared Goff plus, I would do it in a heartbeat. I want Baker Mayfield over Shedeur, over Cam Ward, over Jalen Milroe. Like, legitimately. And I've said this for months, not a day, not an hour, for months, that I think those guys, people keep asking me, Ray, you got Shedeur as your QB1. What do you really think he's... You know what? I think he's going to be a solid quality starter. That's it. I don't have Hall of Fame expectations. I don't think he's going to be a Hall of Famer, nor Cam Ward. I think those are solid, competent NFL QBs. But for fantasy football, if I could trade either one of them guys for Baker, I would have been done it. There's no question. Give me Goff, give me Baker, give me one of them guys, right? That is my bow on the QB class, right? It's not as good as past years. I think it's better than people give it credit for. You're going to have some developmental guys like Dart and Carson Beck declared as well. Be drafted in the fifth round, let him develop. But I would take a dozen NFL starting veterans right now before any of those guys, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the QB class that we have right now. Bo
Nix or Shedeur Sanders right now. Sight unseen.
Yeah, it's very easily Bo Nix.
It's
very
easy.
Easily Bo Nix.
It's easy. Yeah.
You know, you got to go down to like Brock Purdy or Bo Nix, or Brock Purdy or Shedeur Sanders.
Brock Purdy or Cam Ward.
Probably taking Brock Purdy. You go Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff. Then you get to Michael Penix Jr., Ray, or Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward. And I think that's where things get interesting. And we'll get into it later, I'm sure. J.J. McCarthy or Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, right? Trevor Lawrence. I could even understand taking T-Law there. Would you rather have T-Law or Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward?
Trevor.
You're just taking the volume because you know the volume's going to be there for
I know what he is. I know what he is in the NFL. I don't have to worry.
JRich, Tua, Bryce Young, Dak,
Rich,
Sam Darnold, right?
Rich. I don't
So
know. You've been through. You just slid
Slaughter found
Rich
his
in
level there. Hey, that's where he is in the ranks. JRich is very high in the rankings. And I think when it comes to the offseason, he'll probably be closer to 25 than 20 where he is right now.
My feeling on my guy has not wavered.
And did you see the post that McAfee put out yesterday?
No, what did McAfee put out?
He put out a full-blown article about the Colts. I would highly encourage anyone who didn't read it yesterday to go and read it. It was extensive, and it was... I don't know if he was necessarily criticizing Richardson, but he talked about how when your quarterback taps out, your team is not a real contender, not a real team. There's no culture there. It was very long. And,
all right,
and it was good by McAfee.
So right now, let's just, and then we're going to go to break, make people sub. Right now, New England's got the 101. They're going to take Travis Hunter. I'm doing a mock today. They're taking Travis Hunter. Currently, at number 2, Tennessee Titans. Who do they take? Because they're taking a quarterback. This is best case for Tennessee. They just need to lose, and they get to reset.
Do you think they would consider trading down? I think they would.
Let's go in a world where there's no fucking trades right now. Just who do they take?
Then Shedeur.
They're going to take Shedeur or Cam Ward, okay? Cleveland's at 3.
I've seen people mock Cleveland a quarterback.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Watson's already restructured. He's back.
Restructured, yeah.
He's back for 2 seasons. They're not taking another quarterback. They have...
Would you just go O-line there for them?
Sure.
I don't even know what they need.
Yeah, Kelvin Banks out of Texas. Yeah, go protect Watson. Keep his Achilles and back together. It's saying that the Giants are picking 4th right now. I thought they were a little lower. Are they in 4th?
Yeah.
Okay, so now the Giants get Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, right?
Jacksonville won and Vegas won.
All right, so the Giants get Shedeur, and then you got Jacksonville at 5. So there's still a chance that the team that got screwed are the Raiders. The Raiders. The Raiders are the team.
Screwed themselves, right? Like, this is the reality.
And here's the thing. They're going to lose to the Chargers next week. They're going to lose to the Chargers. So
let's hope, because the Chargers don't need to play. They're already in. So what if they bench Herbert and Ladd and JK?
Yeah, they'll play. They'll beat the Raiders. So that means the win that the Raiders had this weekend was just for naught. Like, no point to win that one.
Yep.
Yeah, Frisco picking 11th right now.
I was going to bring that up when we talked about Jenaty.
My goodness.
You want to talk about an unlikely Jenaty spot that looks pretty good. San Francisco is definitely in Jenaty range. Definitely.
Did you see that Chris McCaffrey posted the video of him walking, and I guess his knees were wrapped. So Jeff Mueller, our injury, said he had some
Oh, that was at the hospital, for Christmas.
There was
he had
some
a
other
massive
stuff.
brace on,
Yeah, there was some other stuff. It wasn't just the calf or the...
Yeah. Jeff was saying there's got to be some knee issues there.
I'm out. I'm out.
Fooled me once, right, Ray?
He's officially turned into James White. He's on
the Todd Gurley path now.
All right, man. We're going to go to break. Hit that thumbs up button, like the stream, subscribe to the channel. When we come back,
Links
we're going to give away the winner of the DD pack. And then we got to talk about Sam Darnold, Saquon Barkley. We've got to talk a little Baker Mayfield. We still got some shit that we got to get into. We appreciate y'all being here. Be right back after the break. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the channel. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay. I don't know where he went. Where'd he go? We appreciate y'all being here. Hit that thumbs up button, like the content, subscribe to the channel. Jay.
Yes, sir.
We had a winner. We told people if Devontae Smith scored 2 touchdowns, we'd be sending out a DD pack. I got the pack here. We got all 3 of the new DD shirts. And then we got the full hat pack right here. So we got all 5 of the brand new DD hats. Tags, new errors still on them. So we'll be sending this out tomorrow. We appreciate the people who jumped on the stream. And we did the randomizer, and the winner of the DD pack, Brett Robinson 8130. Congratulations, Brett. Get in contact with us if you're watching. You got 24 hours to claim this prize. 24 hours to claim the prize. And if not, then, we'll run it back and give it away. And I wasn't BSing, man. We weren't giving away. I've got more packs to give away.
Got some more.
But we're not.
What do we got?
We'll do it when the new channel hits 1,000 subs. But we got the Puka pack. We got the Puka Nacua pack. LA Rams, snapback, signed Puka Nacua jersey. And then we got
Smoking
the Laporta
Detroit pack.
We got the Laporta pack. Pack
the black
right
pack
here.
too.
Signed
Nice.
Sam Laporta. When the new channel hits 1,000 subs, so there's going to be more than 1,000 people watch this video. If you just go sub to the new Fantasy Football channel, you could get entered into that. And then we also have
link in the description.
Just new era hats, and I guess we'll talk about old Michael Penix in a little bit that we still want to give away throughout the offseason. So, Jay and I were talking before the show. Now that the fantasy season is over, our content schedule may change a little bit. Normally we drop down to 1 day a week. I don't know, Jay. I kind of want to just keep rolling through the offseason and talk through different narratives, different situations. We were thinking, well, there's going to be some other sports to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA is so bad. There's little to talk about in the association. It's so bad, Jay. I'm trying to watch during Christmas, and it's actually kind of sad. And you know why it's sad that the NBA is so bad? Because the reality of the mortality of those greats that we like to watch, it's almost over. LeBron, KD, Steph, Harden. All those dudes are at the end of their career.
Paul George, Kawhi, like all these guys.
And there's nobody else the guys that were supposed to take over. Like, I really wanted to ask you this question live. Is like Luka Doncic, is he a star? Is Luka a true? Could you go to North Carolina and say Luka Doncic's name and people are going to be like, hell yeah. I feel like you could do that with LeBron. You could do that with Kobe. You could do that with Shohei Ohtani. You could do that with Pat. I don't think there's a star in the NBA to even talk about, and it's sad. I'm looking more forward to MLB this year than I am NBA. It's bad, man. It is bad.
I think the problem is that the best player in the NBA doesn't care about basketball. And he's very outspoken about that.
Who's that?
And then the other side of Nikola Jokic.
Oh, Jokic?
Right? Jokic is the best player in the NBA, and it's really not even that close, and he doesn't care about basketball. He just plays it because he gets paid a lot of money. But the other side of it, right, is not just the fact that there's no stars, it's that there's no American stars. The best players in the NBA are all foreign players, and you probably got to get down a little bit. Now, of course, LeBron is still the best player in the NBA when healthy and available and all of that. But if you're talking about like the future stars of the NBA, people don't like Joel Embiid. People don't like Jason Tatum, right? These are the American stars that could be the next generation within American players, but all of the talent and all of the best players in the NBA, like in a few years, Victor Wembanyama is going to be the best player in the NBA. He's not American. He's French, right? Jokic, Giannis, Luka, like go down the list. All these players are all foreign-born players. And I think that's the biggest problem is that you have all these players that are foreign that are coming into the NBA and they're the new stars of the league. And it's like, where are the American audience supposed to gravitate to when they're constantly getting beat up by French guys, Greek guys, Slovakian guys?
The point is,
what are we doing?
I couldn't even fake coming on here to talk about it. If I'm going to talk about it, it's Steph Curry. Like it's Steph, it's
Top
LeBron, it's KD, and
those
guys are done. I mean, I'm honestly, I shit you not, I'm more interested in watching Juju Watkins and Paige Beckers hoop in women's college basketball than I am watching James Harden turn the goddamn ball over at half court every time because he's fat and slow.
People trying to say people like Tatum. I don't know about that.
God.
I don't think people like Jason Tatum.
I don't think people really
people like Anthony Edwards, but
what
happened with old Anthony Edwards, right?
That Anthony Edwards is not the face of the NBA. You said he's not that, and
I don't think he's ever going to be.
Keeps
cussing in interviews, right?
He
keeps cussing in his post-game interviews.
He cusses a lot, man.
Now Shai is balling, but Kitchener's finest, baby. Canadian.
Here's the thing. Nobody knows these guys. Like we do if you watch Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but a lot like that. That's the problem, I think. The NBA's got an image problem, a face of it. But let's talk about the face of the Minnesota Vikings, Mr. Richards, because I love them, and I'm calling them out.
Don't you dare say it.
I'm calling them out. Debro and Thor Nystrom, I know that they want J.J. McCarthy to be the starting quarterback next year. I get it. They pecked him high. But how can you not watch this video of the Vikings, Sam Darnold coming in after winning that close one against Green Bay? Look at the jubilation. And look at this. They're spraying him with water. They're picking him up. This is Sam Darnold, JRich. This is I'm seeing ghost. This is Mr. Jets, Mr. Panthers, Mr. Niners, Mr. Forgotten, Mr. Laughingstock. But let's not forget, he's still 27 and he was a former number 1 overall pick in year 1 with Kevin O'Connell. Are we sure that they just chunked the deuces to him and say goodbye after potentially leading them to a number 1 seed, first-round playoff bye? And why can't this team be the representative of the NFC in the Super Bowl? Are we sure Sam Darnold is gone next year?
No, I'm not sure. But Ray, here's the funny part about your argument, and this is where it makes me laugh even more. Okay, Sam Darnold won a big game, right? Beat the Packers. They're right in line to get that number 1 seed. But what do you think is going on as Sam Darnold continues to win, continues to play well? What is happening for Sam Darnold?
His value's going up.
That price is going up, right? That $50 million price that we talked about just a few days ago, maybe it's 55 now.
No.
Then maybe.
No.
Then maybe.
No.
Then
maybe.
No. Maybe he goes Super Bowl.
No.
Oh, man. That 55 just became 60, right? You thought Brock Purdy was getting 60 million. Maybe it's Sam Darnold. So are the Minnesota Vikings going to pay that price that keeps going up as Sam Darnold continues to win? So I think the problem is, well, I agree with you. There's no guarantee he's not back on the Vikings. I feel like it's in the Vikings' best case scenario for him to crash and burn in the playoffs, because then maybe they can get him for a more suitable price.
Why do you think they want to crash and burn in the playoffs?
I'm not saying they want to crash and burn, but I think the best scenario for bringing Sam Darnold back
is third
is
in
for
the
him
NFL
to
in
crash
passing
and burn.
yards. 4,153. Third.
Yes.
He's fourth in the 35 touchdowns. He's 13th in QBR. Top 10 in EPA per dropback.
He's a great quarterback right now.
This idea that you and people think that it's so easy to replicate quarterback play in the NFL, it stresses me out.
This has never been the argument.
You grind my gears with
this.
It's
never
man.
been the argument. This has never been the argument. Never. It's always been a conversation of price versus
if it's
production.
price, then I don't want to hear it. They'll figure it out. If all your argument is the money, do you want? You know what I mean? That goddamn Browns just blew $250 million on Deshaun Watson. Like,
and
I
it's
don't
not
want to
working
hear.
out so good, right?
I don't want to hear.
And then the Cowboys did the same for Dak Prescott.
In the cap going
Didn't work
up.
out so good.
Stop.
It's going up.
I don't want to hear about damn money being the reason why they can't do this.
But this is why players don't get re-signed, because of money. Now, quarterback is a different conversation. But if you believe that Sam Darnold is quarterback of the future, that's fine. But he's probably going to get $50+ million, and we'll see how that impacts the team
he doesn't have
forward.
to be the QB of the future, right? Why not give Sam Darnold?
Why would Sam Darnold not sign to be the QB of the
Because Sam
future?
Darnold's not an idiot either, right? Sam Darnold's been on 80 different teams. Sam Darnold's been in bad situations. So we're looking at this from one side of as if Darnold, everywhere he's been, he's succeeded. So why? Because he knows he's in a good spot, because he knows he's paired to a great offensive coordinator, and because he knows that it might not be greener elsewhere. So could I go get $55 million from the Jets? I'm just throwing that out there. Sure,
yeah.
But I'll take 51 to stay here in Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. Like, this is a symbiotic relationship. Sam Darnold's gotten his bag from being the number 1 overall pick. He's got money in the bank. All I'm saying is at this stage of his career, what I'm going to guess, because we're just guessing, is he realizes that he's in a good situation. So
of course.
I don't need $55 million. What if there's a world where Darnold's like, I'll come back for 45? Like, give me and if I'm Minnesota, then I've got I don't trade JJ McCarthy. I don't give up on him as being my QB of the future. Where it's more on that Jordan Love approach. Like, I didn't expect him to be this good. There's good chemistry here.
But how realistic is that? Baker got 3
let me ask you
for
this.
100.
How realistic do you think it is for McCarthy to come in and go 14-2? 15-1.
I agree with you. I agree with you there. But I don't think it's realistic to say that he's not going to sign a deal to be a potential long-term starter. Because while, yes, he was a top pick, he's made some money in the league. This is his true opportunity to cash in the NFL this season. So when you have Baker Mayfield having one good season, 3 years, $100 million, and he is drastically underpaid, and we both would admit that. So now Sam Darnold's going to say, Baker got 3 for 100 after his prove-it year. I want a lot more than that.
125.
But the problem is that is he going to take that, and is there another team that says, okay, Sam, we'll give you $250 over 5 seasons?
Well,
because someone could offer him that.
Okay, but that's different. So what that means is he made that choice, but I'm saying Minnesota needs to offer him. If he doesn't take 3 for 125, then so be it. You move on with JJ. But
that's what my whole point is. That there's going to be a team that wants him.
The narrative is they're not even going to offer him. Don't even let him walk.
Yeah, they may not bother. They may not bother.
And I'm saying don't do that. I would try to retain him, right? Give him a Geno Smith deal. Offer him a Baker deal. You don't want to
disrespect him either, though. If you know he's worth $50 million, are you going to really come in with your 3 for 125? Like, but here's the probably not.
By the time that those numbers come out to the public, Jay, they've already discussed that shit in private. Yeah. So it's not like they're gonna he's gonna learn about it on the media and oh my God, they offered 3. Those conversations have taken place. All I'm saying is this idea that the Vikings don't even try to bring him back and let him walk. This feels like to me, it feels exactly like what happened in San Francisco a few years ago. This is what it feels like, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but this idea that you just swap out Darnold and McCarthy and then the same thing happens, it's foolish, man. Even JD5 had rookie patches of turbulence this year. To think that McCarthy's going to come in and do the same thing out the gate, I think that's a silly proposition.
I think they'll have to tag him. I just, the way that he's playing, the only way they will keep him is if they tag him. And they might, to be fair. Like, he's been that good. He's that valuable to the team. As you showed with the video, the team clearly loves him. But if they don't tag him and trade him or tag him and retain him, I don't think there's any way he's back on the Minnesota Vikings next year. I just don't. Not with an extension.
Okay. All right, Jay, let's talk about another stud, another star, Mr. 2000. Let's hit the bell cow. Bell cow Barkley.
Said it all year, man.
All year. Remember those analysts? Oh, man, Saquon's going to stink in Philly.
We didn't talk about Saquon that much. Hopefully there's not any bad takes from us about Saquon out there.
There, I guarantee you there are none from me. There might be some from you, but there ain't none from me because this was just very, like, what are we talking about? It's a great offense, and you add one of the best, most talented running backs in the league. Why would you fade Saquon Barkley? And now he's, 90 yards away from breaking the record? Does he get it?
Yep. Yeah, he will get it. It's funny because Pickett, right? Broken ribs, gutted through the game.
Let's go,
Eagles
Pickett.
have nothing to play for, and Pickett may not be available. Now, he may try to gut it out once again with Barkley, but we could see Tanner McKee. But I think against the Giants and their terrible offensive line, we will see Saquon Barkley break the record in Philly, unfortunately. I wish it was in New York, but I think he will break the record, yeah.
Yeah.
We weren't so sure early on yesterday, but he had a good game, 31, 167. They gave him a ton of carries. I think they load him up with carries once again if they have to, and he breaks the record next week.
Yeah. Top 5 dynasty running backs next year. Go.
Top 5 dynasty running backs. Wow.
Go.
Would you put Bijan or Gibbs at 1? Part of me wants to just put Gibbs at number 1.
Doesn't matter. Bijan, Gibbs, 1, 2. That's fine.
Then you got Saquon, Bijan, Brees.
I
can make the case for Kyron.
Not Brees. Brees will
Not
fall
Brees,
out.
no. Brees
Bucky
he's
Irving.
barely in there now.
We're going to talk Bucky. Bucky? Is Bucky top 5? Is Bucky's Irving top 5?
Bucky's looking damn good. Bucky Irving's looking damn good. 22
top
years
5?
old. Still with Baker.
Is he top 5?
Probably.
Is he top 5?
Probably.
Yes.
Would you take him over Kyron? I think taking him over Kyron is tough.
Yes.
Because Kyron's very good.
Yes.
Okay. And then you have Achane. You take him over Brees Hall.
I'd take him over
Jonathan
Achane,
Taylor.
yes.
Would you take him over James Cook?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Cook's in a good offense.
Absolutely.
How about Josh Jacobs? Any love for Josh Jacobs in the top 5?
Dude.
He's old, though.
1,606 all-purpose yards for Bucky, and it felt like he didn't do shit the first 5 weeks of the season. You know what I mean?
Took him a while to get going.
First couple of games for them to really just, he's over 1,000 yards. First running back to eclipse 1,000 since the muscle hamster Doug Martin himself. He is the reason why he and Alvin Kamara and all the running backs that are good at making people miss. I believe for a running back, that is one of the biggest traits that I look for is their ability to absorb contact, keep their balance, and make defenders miss. Bucky Irving's forced missed tackle rate in the NFL, numero uno. Better than Kamara, better than Brees, better than Gibbs, better than Bijan, numero uno. His final season in college, you know who's led the country in missed tackles? Bucky Irving. You know who's got double the amount of missed tackles this college football season than the next closest running back? Ashton Jenaty. This shit translates, man. And you watch him, first contact, he doesn't go down unless he gets stuffed in the backfield by, a defender that's unimpeded, right? Other than that, the first contact, he's not falling. I think he's a top 5 running back, Jay, at least value-wise, age, offensive situation, and this offense is fucking fantastic. Baker Mayfield. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
How could you not love Baker Mayfield?
Balling, man. I am. It's funny because I am so happy for Baker, man. Like, just the fact that we have this renaissance. We got Jared Goff is balling. He was a bust. Like, right, in 8 years, are we going to have Trevor Lawrence balling
T-Law's
somewhere else?
T-Law's going to be the new thing, right?
I mean?
Everyone's buried him, and T-Law is just back.
Is this what's going to happen? Like, we got Baker Mayfield, number 1 overall pick, balling in Tampa. Like, it's just crazy to see all these guys. But this is also the reason why we bring this up. And we don't want to go too crazy because it feels like these past couple of years, there's been a lot of renaissance QBs. But these guys do get chances. Not just one chance, but multiple opportunities. And it's just about finding the right situation. And clearly, our boy Dave, he's done some things good. And now, once again, Ray, Bryce Young, he's the next guy.
Bryce Young.
To rise from the ashes, Ray. He's going to rise from the ashes to be a top quarterback. But he's a great quarterback. But so happy for Sam Darnold, for Baker, he deserves a contract extension today. But Bucky is top 5. And I asked you, this is a question I asked you to get on Sunday. I'm going to keep asking the people. Are you really going to take Ashton Jenaty with no landing spot over Bucky Irving. And I think that's a real conversation. And it's tough because Bucky Irving is really good in a really good offense, and the Bucs are going to be good for the next few years. And Ashton Jenaty could end up in a place that maybe isn't so good.
Man, look at this.
It's a conversation.
Look at the 2018 draft 6 years ago. Baker, Saquon, Darnold, Denzel Ward, Bradley Chubb, Quentin Nelson, Josh Allen.
Studs. 1 through 8 studs.
Studs.
That's a loaded class. If only they all worked out for their teams. Literally half of them aren't even on the same team anymore.
I'm telling you, man, Baker's still 29 years old. Jay, he'll be 20. He'll be 30 in April, right around the draft.
Darnold's 27.
He's still. That's why you're letting a 27-year-old just walk out of the building without trying. Baker, 4,300 passing yards, 39 goddamn touchdowns for Baker. Man.
They said he was done, Ray. They wrote him off.
They
said he does too many commercials.
They said he's too cocky, too arrogant, planting too many flags.
Who's cocky now? Baker Mayfield.
Very good. Trade for him.
Very good.
I want Baker Mayfield. All right. Jay, a meaningless win right here. The Giants, every Giants player when there's nothing to play for. Drew Lock.
LeBron James.
Where's Drew Lock at? QB1 on the week? Is Drew Lock QB?
I think he's QB2 or QB3. He's very high, though. Like
Drew Lock
really
and the Giants screwing up the draft order. We kind of talked about that earlier. Somebody in the chat asked about Jonathan Taylor and his playoff stretch. He was
balling.
Yeah.
Straight balling. Yeah.
Bell cow.
But still, top 5.
Bell cow Taylor. Maserati Marv. Jay, the Maserati got it going this past weekend. 6 for 96. How you feeling about Marv? He's going to finish up this rookie year. He's got 57 receptions, 822 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Not bad. Not what we expected, but not awful. And this is why I've been saying, while he is not the top receiver or 2 or 3 in my opinion,
or 4 or 5,
you can't give up on him. You can't. I don't know why anybody would, but don't be foolish yet with Marv, right?
No, but he needs to do it against teams that are not the Rams, and that would be good for everybody, right? Because his 2 biggest games of the year have come against the same team, which isn't great. Now, to be fair, he's going to play them twice a year, every year, for as long as he's on the Cardinals, but he needs to do it against a lot of teams, and they need to get on the same page. But the season as a whole is not as bad as people realize. It's just when Ladd goes for 1,000 and Malik goes for 1,000 and BTJ goes for 1,000 and Brock goes for 1,000, it just makes Marv's season seem significantly worse. But I have to ask the question, Ray, to you and to the people, are we really taking Marv over Rome Odunze going forward? And I think that's the conversation that has to be had and figured out, because if Keenan Allen leaves, Rome Odunze is very much in play in Chicago. Now they're going to have a new head coach, a new OC probably as well. But I think there's a conversation to be had. Their seasons are so similar, and I think Rome at times has looked more consistent and better than Marvin Harrison Jr. So I think that's the conversation I think people are going to have this offseason.
So we got the best wide receiver utilization visualizer in the game pulled up, Trinity Score, over on ddfantasyfootball.com. We got the rookie wide receivers loaded up just to look at the usage, which ones were where. And this is it's not through week 17 yet, so it's through 16 weeks, but you got Neighbors at the top, leading the way in team usage, followed by Ladd McConkey, Brian Thomas Jr. third, Brock Bowers is fourth, but he's a tight end, and his usage is higher than half of the receivers in this class, which is dumb. Marvin Harrison Jr. fifth, Rome Odunze sixth, Keon Coleman still inside of that 5 range, and then X-Worthy back here at a 4.8. But if we filter this from week 10 through week 17 to just kind of week 16 to give that last month of the season outlook, I'm at Worthy up there, Odunze, Harrison. Look at Neighbors and McConkey back-to-back. Brian Thomas Jr. at the top. Brock Bowers still absolutely delivering, and Marvin Harrison down here. Great rookie class.
One of the best we've had in years, man.
Studs.
One of the best we've had in years.
Quarterback's awesome. Running back, you got Bucky. We got Bucky out of the class. That's very good. You got your top 5 running back out of the class. Receivers, honestly, if you drafted any of these guys outside of Xavier Legette, you're probably feeling pretty good. Legette, don't get me started on how poorly he played yesterday.
Yeah.
Tight ends, great. Even some of the players that aren't on here, AJ Barner showing promise in Seattle. I like Jatavian Sanders in Carolina to take another step forward in 2025. Like, this is a
Braylon
great
Allen too.
Rookie class. Yeah, man. This is a great
moments. A.D. Mitchell done nothing all year. Still, like, very talented. Blake Corum.
This was a great class. Great class. Oh, yeah. McMillan. Let me get McMillan. Let's get McMillan on board. What am I?
Yeah.
Let's get McMillan.
Jatavian Sanders had moments. Ray Davis has had quite a few moments this year.
Look at that. McMillan.
Jalen Coker.
There he is. 5.03 inside the range. This is a great, outstanding rookie class, and it's going to be fun to dive through some of this usage data, some of this Trinity data this offseason as new wide receivers get added to folds, as new situations start to emerge. Let me just look real quick at T and Jamar. I just want to look at where T and Jamar are. Can we do that real quick, Jay? Can we look at T? Let's find the orange dots. So there's Jamar Chase against the rest of the NFL. Just ridiculous. And there's T Higgins. Here's T. Oh, that's Cortland Sutton. Where's the other T? There's T right there. 6.89, 18 points per game from week 10 through week 17. And then if we go for the full season, I just want to see where those Bengals players are. There's Jamar Chase, way above everybody else because he's that freaking good. And there's T Higgins, 7.44, 17 points per game. They'll both be back in Cincinnati in 2025, both of them cats. Jay?
Yeah.
Let's go to chat, see what people are talking about. Jalen Coker, any hope for Pearsall, Leggett, Polk? Based on their score historically, Polk, I would be good on. I'd be good on those three. Yep. I'd be good on all three of them. I'm good.
No way.
I mean, hope sure, but I'm
Leggett
good.
maybe because but they're gonna bring players in.
No. Leggett
you hate Leggett because he drops too many passes.
Ball tracking ability is zero. It is zero. They will draft a receiver. They will draft.
They will bring in receivers. Yeah. No John Mingos around here.
Yeah. Don't sleep on Tracy. What are we talking about? Tyrone Tracy?
Tyrone Tracy. Yeah, this draft is like insanely deep, man. You can go 16 players deep of rookies.
Of this 24 class?
Daniels, Bowers, Neighbors, Thomas, May, Caleb, Marv, Nix, McConkey, Bucky, Rome, Penix, McCarthy, again, Xavier Worthy, Tyrone Tracy. 15 deep. And all 15 of those players have been good or have a lot of value, right? Like every single one
class.
of them.
I mean, you really didn't screw it up. You really didn't screw it up, man. Hunter Joe Green said it. The way Leggett played yesterday is proof they need to bring T if they can.
He's hurt. Come on,
Leggett
Ray.
was not good. Hurt. It was not good, man. I'm with like. I don't think. Like we already talked about it. I don't think he's leaving. I don't think Cincy's letting him walk. I don't think there's a chance in hell. I'm 10 toes down on that. There's a lot of people who disagree. All that stuff sounds fine. T. Higgins ain't going nowhere. He's going to be right back in Cincinnati in 2025. Behoove everybody. Everybody. All right, last one. Hit the music, Jay. Guys, thank you so much. 7 points away from the championship. Do you think Laporta and Jennings will play tonight? Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, they should. Jennings especially should be fine.
Why is Laporta not? Is he hurt?
Laporta, this guy. Sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't.
Here's the thing, Patrick. Patrick said if QJ can improve, I think those guys can improve and be an actual viable asset. I don't think those two are one and the same. Sure, they can improve, but historically, based on the way that they've been used this year, it just does not bode well for what they're going to be able to produce next year. Trust the Trinity. And I'll leave it at that.
100%.
I'll leave it at that. All right, Jay. We're gonna go live on Wednesday. We're gonna wake up and go live.
We'll see how Jenaty does, but we may have to.
Yeah,
we may have to talk about old Ashton Jenaty.
We'll go 3 days this week. I mean, Wednesday's the first, right? That's the first of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go live on the new year. We got to do that, man. We'll go live on the new year, and then we'll figure out the rest of the content schedule as we go. We appreciate each and every eye, each and every ear in the building. Thank you for those that joined us yesterday for 4.5 hours as we sweated through that first slate of games. And people asked, Ray, how did your underdog teams do? Top 20 in the Badge Bros Brawl. Still in the top 150 in marathon, so we'll win a little bit of money, but unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to win. But that's all right. We made the finals and got to the top 20 out of 100-something thousand people. I'm pretty proud about that. We got one of the best communities, and I promise you, you will not regret it. Join the Heisman tier. Join the GOAT tier over on ddfantasyfootball.com. Make sure you wake your asses up with me and JRich tomorrow. Enjoy. Check out all the content on the channel. We're out. Peace.